He was born in the heart of Istanbul, the city of the world. Desire, in the year 1524, the middle son of Sultan Süleyman al-Kanuni and his noble Hürrem Sultan. Tall, graceful, and fair. They called him Selim the Blonde, but history remembers him by another name, Selim II. The 11th Sultan of the House of Osman and the 76th Caliph of Islam, he was unlike his brothers, for he did not chase the throne. While others competed for power, Selim waited with quiet patience. Content with the decree of Allah, when his companion once asked him what people said of him, Selim smiled and replied, "Let the soldiers want Mustafa. Let the viziers support Bayezid. Let poor Selim be favored by his lord." That patience became his destiny. His brothers fell one by one to illness or rebellion, and Selim ascended the throne with the blessing of heaven, not the sword. He had already proven himself as governor of Manisa, Kütahya, and Karaman. And when his father marched eastward, it was Selim he left behind as regent. When the time came, Selim took the throne of his ancestors, calm, intelligent, and deeply aware of the immense trust he had inherited. Unlike conquerors who came before him, he ruled in an age that required preservation, not expansion, stability, not ambition. And he ruled with justice. Selim entrusted the affairs of state to his wise Grand Vizier, Sekolu Mehmed Pasha, a man of vision and devotion. Together, they preserved the empire's greatness. Roads were rebuilt, trade prospered, and the name of the caliphate was honored from Africa to the Far East. Under Selim's rule, the Ottoman banners flew in North Africa once more. Tunisia was brought under Muslim governance, and the Zaydi uprisings in Yemen were subdued, restoring unity to the land. In the far seas of the East, he sent his navy and artillery to aid the Muslims of Aceh in Indonesia against the Portuguese invaders. Because of that help, the Sultanate of Aceh remained free and Muslim for centuries thereafter. When the Astrakhan ruler called for aid, Selim ordered the Don-Volga campaign. Hoping to link the Black Sea and the Caspian with a grand channel, a vision far ahead of its time. Though the project halted in winter, it revealed the scope of Ottoman ambition under his reign to protect Turkestan and all of Asia from the reach of colonial powers. Through the loyalty of the Crimean Khan, Devlet Jaireh, Selim's banners even reached the north. In 1571, the Crimean forces entered Moscow itself and forced the Russians to sue for peace, a victory that echoed from the Volga to the Mediterranean. He was a ruler of peace, yet his peace was not weakness. He maintained treaties with Iran, Austria, and Venice, focusing on rebuilding and enriching the empire. For the first time, the Sultan did not ride personally to war, for most campaigns of his era were naval. The empire's borders were secure. The call to jihad had spread to the oceans. But there was one campaign he would not leave to others, the opening of Cyprus. The island had once been Muslim land, home to the grave of Hiram, the aunt of the Prophet who was martyred there in the first Islamic expedition. For centuries, Cyprus had remained under Crusader rule, its fortresses threatening the safety of Muslim trade routes. The Council of Viziers advised against an expedition, fearing its difficulty. Then, it is said, Sultan Selim had a dream. The messenger of Allah appeared to him and said, "You will open Cyprus, and when you do, build a mosque in gratitude." Awakening with conviction, Selim ordered the preparations. A new fleet was built, and by the will of Allah, Cyprus was opened swiftly. There, in the city of Nicosia, he built the Selimiye Mosque in gratitude to his lord, but soon after, the Crusader power Benice, Spain, Malta, and the Lepanto. The Ottoman navy suffered heavy losses, and the admiral himself was martyred. When news reached Selim, he was deeply saddened, yet his faith did not falter. He ordered the entire fleet rebuilt within 5 months. When Grand Admiral Klik Ali Pasha expressed astonishment, Sakolu Mehmed Pasha replied, "Pasha, you do not yet know the might of this state. If the masts were made of silver and the sails of silk, still they would be ready in time." By spring, 200 new ships glided across the sea, proof that the Empire's power was not broken. Even European historians admitted it was as if the Muslims had won Lepanto after all. During this same era, rebels in the Netherlands rose against their Catholic rulers, crying a slogan that stunned Europe, rather Turkish than Catholic. For they saw the Muslims as symbols of justice, order, and tolerance. Some even wore crescent badges on their hats, a strange testament to the influence of the Sultan they called the Padishah of Justice. Selim's greatness, however, was not only in politics or war. He was a scholar, a poet, a man of art and faith. He wrote under the pen name Selimiye, and his verses sang of divine love and longing. We are nightingales of love. Crying our pain of separation, even the morning breeze becomes fire when it passes through our rosary. He studied under the Sufi masters of the Khalwati order and sought spiritual enlightenment from Sheikh Suleiman al-Omidi. He was devoted to worship, merciful to his subjects, and humble before the scholars. As for the rumors that would later stain his name, they were born from ignorance. During his reign, taverns run by non-Muslims were permitted to operate again, as they had been under earlier sultans, to collect lawful taxes on non-Muslim trade. Muslims were forbidden from entering them, but outsiders saw this policy and spread slander, claiming the Sultan was fond of drink. In truth, Selim was a man of discipline and devotion, not indulgence. He spent his wealth not on pleasure, but on faith. He commissioned mosques, madrasas, and imarets, soup kitchens for the poor. His crowning achievement, the Selimiye Mosque in Eden, built by Mimar Sinan, was declared by the architect himself to be his masterpiece. Its dome surpasses that of Hagia Sophia, yet its spirit rises from Tawhid, not empire. He also ordered the strengthening of Hagia Sophia itself, building walls and minarets that allowed it to endure to our time. These acts were not of vanity, but of service, the work of a ruler who understood that beauty, knowledge, and worship were all forms of ibadah. Selim II, the patient, the poet, the scholar, and the guardian of peace, passed away in 1574 in Istanbul, the city of his birth. He was laid to rest beside his father, Suleiman, under the shadow of the mosque that bore their names. He left behind not an empire of ruins, but an empire of wisdom, strong, disciplined, and radiant with faith. History will always remember his calm. His enemies wrote lies of indulgence, but his people remembered his justice. For those who knew him, he was Selim the Just, the Sultan who ruled with the pen as much as with the sword. He was proof that power need not roar to be great, that peace itself can be the mightiest conquest.